Every massive online channel, every huge creator, they all start somewhere. But that beginning, it's usually invisible, completely lost to time. Today, though, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to investigate a single moment, kind of frozen in time, and try to solve this little mystery about what it really means to create.
Okay, let's dive right in. Our entire explainer today really hinges on this one number. 1. I mean, it seems so small, almost nothing, right? But this number, it represents that very first step, the first connection you make in this huge digital world. It's a number that can feel pretty lonely, for sure, but it's also the most important one.
And that really brings us to the core question here. Who are you actually creating for when the numbers are this small? Is it that one person? Is it some audience you hope to have in the future? Or is it someone else entirely? All right, let's put on our detective hats and start digging into the evidence. So our whole investigation starts with just one piece of evidence, this single screenshot. We're going to look at every pixel, every single word, to try and piece together the story of a creator who is right at the very, very beginning of their journey. Okay, meet our subject, a YouTube channel called Maverick Funderburk. The key stats are right there, plain as day. 7 videos have been published, and on the other side of that equation, a single subscriber. You could say this is our crime scene, and these are the initial facts of the case. So, our very first clue is the profile picture. And what's interesting is it isn't a person, but this very friendly-looking dog. Now, this immediately sets a certain tone, doesn't it? It feels personal, maybe a little quirky, and it's definitely not some faceless corporate brand. It just feels approachable. And this right here, this really gets to the heart of the tension we're investigating. On the left, you've got a pretty significant amount of work, 7 videos. I mean, think about the scripting, recording, and editing for each one. And then on the right, the results so far, 1 subscriber. Now, this isn't a complaint, it's just a fascinating imbalance that really hints at the creator's true motivation. So to figure out that motivation, we've got to go deeper. The real story here isn't in the subscriber count. It's in the work itself. So let's shift over to the video thumbnails and see what they can tell us. Okay, a pattern starts to emerge pretty much immediately when you look at the videos about technology. For instance, there's a video explaining the 502 error, that common but super confusing internet problem. And right next to it, there's one on language models, the tech that's behind all the modern AI. Right away, you can see a focus on demystifying complex stuff. Now, let's look at another pair of videos that kind of broadens this theme. We've got one on the Wikigame, which is all about navigating these huge networks of knowledge, and another one, Wikipedia Global Library, that focuses on how information gets organized. So this tells us it's not just about tech, it's also about knowledge and language and how we all interact with information. And finally, a couple of the videos take us into even more abstract territory. We've got The Anatomy of a Message and An Unlikely Pair. I mean, these titles suggest a real curiosity about communication, connection, and maybe some of the more philosophical ideas that lie underneath how we relate to the world. So let's recap. We've got server errors, artificial intelligence, Wikipedia, and the philosophy of communication. On the surface, they seem pretty disconnected, right? But is there a single idea, a single purpose that ties all of this together? I think there is. Let's lay all our evidence out on the table and see what kind of picture it paints. Yeah, it's time to connect the dots. And when you organize the videos by topic like this, boom, a really clear pattern emerges. We've got a category for technology and AI, one for knowledge and language, and another for these abstract concepts. There's definitely a serious intellectual curiosity at play here. And this reveals the common thread. It's not a topic, it's an action. This creator is taking these complex subjects, technology, language, big ideas, and they're trying to make them simple. The goal isn't just to talk about stuff. It's to help people understand. It's to explain. And you know what? There's a name for this. It's an explainer. This entire channel, from the tech deep dives all the way to the philosophical ideas, is dedicated to the art of the explainer video. It's all about making the complex clear. And realizing that, well, it changes everything. Because if the goal is to practice the skill of explaining, then the audience size is totally irrelevant. This isn't a performance for a big crowd. It's practice. It's a dojo. It's a training ground for mastering a craft. So let's zoom out from Maverick Funderburk for a second and think about what this means for anyone starting something new. Why do we bother creating when it feels like nobody is watching?
Well, the reasons are actually incredibly powerful, and they go way beyond just getting views. You create to master a skill, just like our Mystery Channel owner. You create to build a portfolio for your future. You create to clarify your own thoughts. Because honestly, the best way to understand something is to try and explain it. And sometimes you just create for the simple, pure joy of making something. Which brings us all the way back to our audience of one. If the work is really about practice and about learning and about joy, who's that one subscriber? Who is the most important person you really need to satisfy when you're just getting started? And maybe that's the solution to our mystery. The first person you have to convince, the first person you need to show up for, the first subscriber that truly, truly matters is you. Before you can ever build an audience of thousands, you have to be your own audience of one.